So back in the Adams environment, you still might have your flexible body in this particular model. So we need to get back to either the model with the original solid body in there, or we can replace this with the solid. What you'll see in here is we have our flexible part and we have our rocker that's currently unavailable, the original solid, but now we're going to replace the original solid with the new optimized solid. So I'm just going to switch this flexible part back to the solid. I'm not interested in retaining the mesh because we're going to replace it with the new part. And now we see when we go into shaded view that we have the original solid back. Now this is the solid that we're now going to replace with the new solid that we've created in Apex. Now this next few steps are quite important. First of all, we're going to import the Parasolid file that we've created. And I'm going to browse for this file. Now this is the file that I've exported from the Apex side. And now the very important step is to select the correct part, because we don't want to import it into the model because then it becomes a new part. We want to apply this geometry to an existing part, which in this case is the rocker. I'm just going to import it like this, and now you can actually see we have two solids in here. Now this is a problem because this means if we're going to recalculate the mass, it will be calculated incorrectly. So it's quite critical that we delete the original solid, which in this case was the plate part that we've used in this particular model. You might have used something else. Maybe you've used the box, or you used one of these links. In this model of mine, I used the plate to create this red part. So this is the geometry entity that I need to delete. And now we can see that we sit with the correct part remaining. We can right click on the part and let it recalculate the density, and now we see the mass has been reduced from 85 to 60 kilograms. Another thing to check is whether or not these entities are supposed to be there, and we can see that these are small little sheet entities that were not supposed to be imported. In fact, it looks like we have imported a original surface that was used in the Apex creation, so we can actually select all these sheets as well and make sure that they are not participating in the mass calculation of our part. And just to be sure, we're going to recalculate it again. Right, so that is how simple it was to bring in our new geometry, and now we again have the option to run the analysis as is, as well as making a new flexible part from this body, and we will essentially repeat the whole procedure. Just a word of caution, a body like this will need a much more refined mesh to capture all these sharp corners properly, and that means your analyses will run much longer, as well as the preparation stages might take much longer, and you will need to have a close eye on the mesh quality so as not to have too distorted elements. So do have a look at that. Unfortunately, the knowledge on when a mesh is good or not comes with experience, and that is definitely something to take into account. So that brings us back to our original slide, where we've now gone through the optimization process and we've created a lighter body over here with the objective to get more realistic results, where the next phase would be to create a flexible body of this part.